The young master, consumed with rage, pointed his trembling finger at Azadin and shouted at Sir Zebek, "Zebek, this is an order, kill that bastard now." His voice cracked with desperation. Azadin, calm and composed, leapt into the air with a grace that seemed almost supernatural. As he ascended, the soldiers below panicked, their formations breaking. With his bow drawn mid-air, Azadin released a volley of arrows that struck his targets with unerring precision. Cries of pain and confusion erupted as soldiers fell. When Azadin landed with feline agility, the remaining soldiers rallied and screamed, "Get him! Die!" But before they could act, Azadin stepped on the shaft of a spear, using it as a springboard to launch himself back into the air. The soldiers gasped in disbelief at his impossible maneuverability. While airborne, Azadin drew and released 3 arrows simultaneously. Each arrow found its mark, piercing through soldiers' eyes or groins with surgical accuracy. One arrow whistled past the young master, grazing his cheek and drawing blood. Frozen in shock, the young master thought, "He isn't trying to kill us, he's crippling us." Another arrow struck a soldier directly in the groin, and a scream echoed through the battlefield. Overwhelmed with fear, the young master bellowed, "You bastard, who the hell are you?" To that, I'd say, he is Azadin, the 108 balls collector. Suddenly, Azadin appeared behind the young master as if he had materialized from thin air. In a low, chilling voice, he introduced himself, "My name is Azadin. I am a herald." The young master's face turned pale. The weight of those words hit him like a boulder. "A herald, here?" The soldiers around him recoiled in terror as they muttered, "He's soulless." Fear rippled through the ranks. Azadin reached over his shoulder for another arrow, only to find his quiver empty. Seeing this, the young master's fear transformed into a flicker of hope. "He doesn't have any arrows," he shouted to rally his men. Before the words even finished leaving his lips, Azadin's fist collided with the young master's face, sending him flying. The impact was so strong it echoed like thunder. As the young master landed on the ground, writhing in pain and clutching his face, Azadin calmly removed his bowstring and tucked his bow away. Where he hid it, who knows? Standing atop a horse with effortless balance, Azadin gazed down at the battlefield. The young master lay on the ground, crying in agony, "My eye! My eye!" His screams filled the night. Behind Azadin, a soldier saw an opening and lunged. Without even turning, Azadin dodged the attack and delivered a swift punch to the soldier's eye, eliciting another wail of, "My eye! My eye!" Azadin picked up a sword from the ground, examining it briefly. "I've already thinned your numbers with my arrows," he said, his tone dripping with confidence. "If any of you are brave enough, come and face me." But not a single soldier moved. Fear had paralyzed them, his eyes scanning the trembling men before him. Then, as if remembering something important, he muttered, "Ah, I almost forgot." Then, Azadin struck the soldier lying on the ground with his sword, directly targeting his groin. The soldiers collectively froze, beads of sweat rolling down their faces. Some nearly lost control of their bladders as Azadin's calm, calculating gaze fell on them. From a distance, the owl watched the scene unfold, thinking, "Why is he so obsessed with castration? He's absolutely insane." And so, Azadin achieved what no warrior had done before. He successfully castrated all the soldiers. A grotesque achievement, but one that sent a message: Azadin does not tolerate injustice. Azadin then turned his attention to the young master, who was feebly trying to crawl away. Each movement was slow and pitiful, a stark contrast to the arrogance he had displayed earlier. Azadin loomed over him like an executioner. "You waited a long time for this, didn't you?" Azadin's voice was low and venomous. "Trash like you, who inflicts pain on the people, deserves nothing less." Standing next to the whimpering young master, Azadin gripped his sword tightly. His quiver was empty, though perhaps he had recovered some arrows from the fallen soldiers. As Azadin raised his sword, preparing to deliver judgment, a sudden golden light burst forth, blinding everyone around. A soldier cried out in alarm, "I'm going blind." The battlefield was consumed by the radiant glow, leaving everyone in awe and fear. The young master let out a sinister laugh and declared, "Did you see that? This is my magic, proof that noble blood, incomparable to yours, flows within me." His arrogance filled the air as he basked in his so-called divine power. Before the young master could finish his grandiose statement, Azadin swung his sword with lightning speed. A sharp, clean sound cut through the tension, followed by a splash of crimson. For a moment, the young master looked unfazed, but then his eyes widened as he glanced down. Utter shock consumed him when he realized what had been severed. His most precious thing was no longer attached. Yes, that thing. If you get it, feel free to write about it in the comments. I happen to love bananas. The young master's scream of panic pierced the night, so loud it seemed capable of waking the dead. Honestly, I felt his agony too. He cried out, his voice trembling with desperation, "What the hell have you done to me?" Azadin, ever the embodiment of mockery, replied with a smirk, "Are you really this slow? You still don't know when I did it to you? How unfortunate." Azadin grabbed the young master by his silver hair, dragging him closer. The young master, now reduced to a pitiful figure, pleaded, "What do you want? Money? Women? Swords? Name it, and it's yours." I'm a descendant of the sacred Yaiga's holy family. Azadin, unimpressed, responded coldly, "Really? Unfortunately for you, I am a Slayer of Sanctity, a Herald. That title doesn't exactly make me a fan of your so-called sacred bloodline." The young master's eyes darted to Sir Zebek, who stood nearby, holding his head as if trying to suppress a headache. The young master screamed desperately, Sir Zebek, what are you doing? Help me." But Sir Zebek, clearly done with the entire situation, sighed and replied with exasperation, "I can't see." Horrified, the young master turned back to Azadin and screamed, "You bastard! I'm a noble. I come from a sacred bloodline. Just because I did that to some commoners, you think?" Azadin cut him off mid-rant with a cold, detached tone. "Come to think of it, I have a feeling you'll continue living with vigor after this." The young master's face twisted in confusion as he stared at Azadin, who now held two gleaming daggers in his hands. The reflection of the blades danced menacingly in the young master's terrified eyes. Azadin's voice was calm but dripping with finality. "That's the right attitude. Live positively. Trust me, you'll need it more than ever." In one swift motion, Azadin brought the daggers down, severing, well, you know what. The young master collapsed to the ground, a pitiful heap of agony and despair. Azadin stood over him, an unshaken figure of judgment, and said with a chillingly calm tone, "I don't have a contractor, but I think I've been considerate. The Emperor's law has been fulfilled." And with that, the Slayer of Sanctity walked away, leaving the young master to contemplate his new, irrevocable reality.